Alright guys, I'm not going to make a complete video on how to take all this stuff apart and how to work inside here and replace the motors and stuff like that. This video is basically explaining the hydraulic system. Once you can watch other videos, I'll try to find one and link it down below that shows you how to take all this stuff apart. I'm not going to go through all that. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert by any means. But what I will tell you is what I found out that a lot of other forums and videos don't actually lay out completely. Up inside here, in the back of this tray, there's a little leg that goes out and it slips into a channel and it's got a micro switch. If this is not inside that channel and that micro switch pushed, it won't work properly. Also, over here on the side, if you notice, I've cut a hole in the side of the plastic so this pump could lay down with the convertible top down and not be bound up and the wires still move freely. I'm going to tuck it back behind this material right here, and then I'm going to put the material back together, and that's going to be its permanent spot from now on. This is a self-bleeding pump. So you're going to hear all kind of people tell you this and that, and this is how you get the air out of it and crack the lines and activate the pump. That is not how it works. Up here, there's a release. So if you see that little lever right there moving, this is the manual release. This little lever that's on the side pushes a button that's in the side of the motor, and it allows that little button to push in and bypass the fluid so you can open the top manually by hand in case there's ever an emergency, or close it. This right here, after installing the new motor wouldn't bleed, and I couldn't figure out why it wouldn't bleed. Well, that's because this tray needs to be put in order for it to activate properly. And this switch, it needs to have a gap right here. There needs to be a gap in between the little lever and the cable. This was pulled out all the way, and it was kind of tilted down, which was putting pressure on that lever, which is causing the motor to be in bypass mode. And with it being in bypass mode, it wasn't wanting to work correctly and bleed all the air out of the system. Once I got this to slide back inside the slot, and that opened up, I was able to go inside and activate the open position. And about 45 seconds into holding the button, if you time out, I don't know if it's like a half or 30 seconds to 45 seconds, holding the open button, if you time out, turn the key back off, turn the key back on, and go back to holding the button again, and it will actually self-bleed the air out of the system, and now it works extremely well. It works very well now. You don't have to be as aggressive as I was cutting this channel out right here. So when you go to put these little side pieces back in, watch another video on that. I don't have time to really explain all that stuff, but if you look where I got the hoses pulled through right here, and I got the little channel cut in the plastic, this now goes up in here and slides. You got to cut a channel right there in that little side piece as well, because you've relocated the pump, and it goes back in here like so. You can see there's a little spot right here where a screw goes, and there's a up over the top of this there's a little plastic plug, and back there there's another bolt. But anyway, cutting that channel in there allows this to go back into its regular spot without binding up those wires. And then I think this goes up here like so. These fold up. Let me snap them in and fold them up real quick. Somebody was already working on this when I assumed responsibility of this, but here I'll show you what it looks like with the. There's a couple little plastic clips that when you start this job, you're gonna take this. It's either like a T30 or a 10 mil here. Back there, same thing, and then up over the top of this. Once you get this flap unhooked and down, There's a plastic rivet that goes through that you got to pull out with a pair of needle nose pliers. But I got another guy here that I learned from on how to do all that. I'm going to pass you guys off to him. So there was a baggie in the back of this thing with some clips here, and I didn't really know where they went until I watched his video. And you can see there's clips right here. And when you push in on those clips, they pop in and they fall over inside this tray. You'll be able to get them later. There's supposed to be another one over here, but it's missing. There's nothing I can do about that. They're just not here. Same over here. It's missing in the front. There's, again, nothing I can do about it. So you got 2 plastic clips and 2 plastic clips. And how you put those in is you put them in from the inside here. Go inside the car. And down back by this channel, there's that plastic clip. Let me see if I can get it to back up some. There it is. It goes right down inside that hole. It's the last slot before the plastic ends. Slides right down in there like that. Here, I'm using a borescope camera for you so you can see. This has been a pain in the ass. I'm a big guy and I don't want to be doing small cars like this, but anyway, money's money and you'll do whatever it takes to make a dollar, right? Especially as a mechanic. These here are a way to disengage the system. I had to pull this thing back out of this little pocket because if this isn't pulled completely out, it deactivates this thing and just bypasses the fluid. It was pushed in just a little bit like that, and it's like I just need to pull this cable off of here for now because it's actually causing problems. And now with it like this, the system works completely fine with the actual cable taken out of it, because this little plastic housing and cable assembly, it's not really doing its job properly. So everything works now, but when you have these in the up position like this, it deactivates that micro switch right there. So if you flip it down and flip this one down, the package tray sits down, the micro switch is pushed, and then you can get back in the car. That's a way for you to deactivate the top. And then you can go back over here, open it up. And then close it. So here's what I ended up doing. I took that little manual release bracket off of the pump completely, because no matter what position it was in, even with the cable unhooked from the little lever, it was so sensitive touching the little nipple on the side of that motor or that pump housing assembly. Just pull it off. So I pulled it off, and then if you ever need to, you just peel the carpet back and reach in there and push your finger on it while somebody opens it. A little bit more time consuming, but at least you know it's not pushing on that button and it's going to deactivate the top, and the owner was completely fine with it. Done. That's all I got. Y'all be blessed. Take care. I'll link an instructional video down below on all the little... Oh yeah, I found the bolt and nut kit. It was hidden down underneath the battery where the previous person that had worked on it left all the nuts and bolts in a little baggie. So it was 10 millimeter and T30, two bolts that hold on those little trays on the side, and then on the inside it's a little push tab plastic thing. I didn't put the push tabs back in. I'm fucking worried about that. I just put the two bolts back in. The customer doesn't want me to spend a shit ton of time on this. I've got about 3.5 hours in this thing so far, trying to figure out how the system works, going back, all the nuances, putting the aftermarket pump. I think it's an aftermarket pump anyway. I don't even know. It was just in a fucking box. So I used it, and it worked. Anyhow, now I'm going to troubleshoot the parking brake, but I'm not making a video on that. It's pretty easy, self-explanatory. Y'all be blessed, take care. Just some talking points on a BMW Z4 convertible top.